What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. We're actually at a part of this build right now that's not so exciting, but is kind of imperative, otherwise the rest of it's not going to go well. A lot of you were asking about, I'm going to address a bunch of those questions right now. If you missed it, 12-inch screen, it can go in here. We're going to do it. I have the screen, I just need a couple other pieces. People have figured out now what is needed to do that. We're going to be throwing that in. Along with that, sound system. The speakers in this thing were awful, and that's what I'm doing right now. I've had these JL audio, obviously we're doing JL audio in this thing. I had two options for this. It was either gonna be JL audio or Memphis audio. We're running with JL on this. I had these two here. I'm honestly probably gonna put JL in my truck too. I'm very, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but clarity. Audio clarity, the way it sounds. I don't need loudness. I don't need the screaming. There's enough loud things going on in the shop all day, impacts, compressors. I don't need loudness. I want clarity. I want clear, crisp sound. 2 12s. Yeah, this is going to shake the Bronco. I was gonna put in my 2 10s. I had the W3s that were in my Hellcat. I had these laying around, and I'm gonna put these in here. 2 12s. Now this is what I'm kind of doing right now. I'm trying to figure this out. A lot of you count on me for not making custom boxes, and I get it. Most of the time, pre-built boxes that you find that matches the specs of your sub, that's what they're made for. They're already done. Throw the subs in that match, and it's good to go. But here the case is, it's very interesting. We're limited on space because, I mean, the door only comes up to here. We've got, man, I don't even know, 20 inches from the door to where the back seat bolts in, and then obviously it's gonna angle backwards a little bit. But to get these 2 12s in here, they are 2 12 thins. 2 12 like big guys, I don't even think would fit back here comfortably. I really don't want to do a prefab box on this instance because I can't put the amps underneath the seat. The seats slide. Now you're understanding what's going on in my head and why this is, there's a lot more that goes to it than you guys just watched. But the seats slide, so I can't just put the amps underneath it because you got to step there to get into the back seat if it ever needed used. I see people online, they've been putting them back here behind the plastics, but that makes it all tucked away and it's very hard to service or access or change the tuning or any of that. That makes it hard. So at that point it leaves me with, I didn't want to make extra work for myself, just like I already did with the roll bar, but I think I'm going to have to make a custom box for this trunk that'll also hold my amps and these 2 12s back here, and we can add whatever style we want to it at that point. I've never really made a custom box, but I guess we can. My thought here, however, to make this a little, obviously to put the amps between the subs somehow, but I kind of wanted to get them mounted in a cool way and kind of make this trunk a little unique. So that's what I'm figuring out right now. Here's one I already got out of the box, but you can see how thin they are. It's a 12 TW1, 2 of them. But if I could get them mounted somewhere like this, up here, angled outward, I mean, aesthetically, cool. Sound ways, I don't know if that'll help me or hurt me. There should be enough room in between that I can kind of box in and put the amp for the highs and these 2 subs. Obviously a lot more measuring needs done, and I'm gonna have to plan that out, but this is kind of the start. I also need to get some more speaker wire. I was gonna run that today, but I ran out. All OFC copper. I got CCA wire, but I don't want to do that. But I'm gonna run OFC in here. I'm gonna get more of that coming, and then we can get the rest of this kind of put in. But I think 2 12s, custom mounted, cool, kind of like angled outward, will look pretty sick back here. And at that point, I'm not even concerned with the correct audio wave profile that people are gonna probably say something about, because it's gonna rock this thing like crazy no matter what. This thing is so small, and these are 2 very large woofers for a 2-door Bronco. We're gonna get that all planned out, and I think it's gonna be pretty sick. Along with those subs back here, I think they make upgrades up to 6.5s. So in that instance, probably, I don't know if I'm gonna do the JL Audio C2s or the C3s right now. The C3s would be cool because then I can make that a two-way, that component speaker like a two-way mount. and go back here, which would be sweet. But if not, I may just do a C2, 6.5 back there. And then in the front, down here, there's another 6.5 woofer that was there. And then you've got the dash tweeter, which I believe is a 4. Same thing with what was in the back. So probably upgrade this to a component set, maybe. I don't know if I want to do a, you know, something like that. But either component set or 2 different speakers. But probably just do that, won't add any more. Should sound great, should be pretty, you know, loud, clear, crisp. And it should pound pretty good. Okay, now another thing a few of you asked about is seat belts. I mean, I guess by the look of it, yes, we're sending the seat belts out to Safety Restore. They're gonna re-web them for us. I still haven't showed you guys the accent color and the powder coat we're picking. However, the seat belts are actually just gonna go purple. They're gonna match and they're gonna play really well off the leather that I wanna put in there. So we gotta get these packed up. A lot of you probably haven't seen this part of the process before. I usually just ship them out. It's literally, here's your seat belt. Here's your belt, the whole thing, wiring harness and everything included. You ship them like this. If you want, there's a couple like keepers that are usually on the screws. What I'm gonna do in this instance is, because this one's actually pretty loose, I don't wanna lose this bolt or this spacer, so I'm gonna take a picture of this, take it out, and keep them. Label them for each seatbelt. However, sometimes things like this, where the keeper is like down and in here, or sometimes they just don't come out, they're not necessary. If you're worried about, you know, losing them or them falling through the box or something while it's in the mail, clip them off, take them off, and just keep the bolts if you want, you know, you want to keep the hardware. But most of the time you don't need to worry about it. They're pretty good about that. But you're gonna ship it just like this. I'm gonna wrap it up and then we'll get all of these put in the box and we'll get it shipped out to Safety Restore. What we're gonna do here is we're just gonna take this retainer off, and then this, I'm actually gonna take a picture of that. And then on this, get your sticker and the other bolt so you know kind of what this all is. Take that off in the spacer. Bolt, there's a little O-ring kind of foam gasket thing. That's gonna go inside the plastic here, probably to keep it from rattling. And we'll just put this back on. Down here, this is pressed on so deep and like all the way. I probably need a little screwdriver. This one may or may not be going back on. It's just easier at the factory to have the bolts already in the place and held in by this, and they can just zip them in, then fiddle with it and put it in the hole. You just grab and twist that off. Other than that, looking at this, there's no other plastic or anything we need to hold on to. So we'll get this all wrapped up so we can ship it out. Okay, so now I believe this is the back or the front seatbelt, not really sure. Regardless, it's different than the other one. So wherever that one goes, this one goes the opposite spot. Here, as you can see, this bolt we already took off, saved and labeled in our bin. But over here we have another one just like we took off the front. I think that's the back, but another one like that. But down here is one of the bolts that I was trying to tell you about that you're not worried about. It's got one of those keepers on it. However, this one's actually an Extreme. For some reason, brand new Bronco. Look at how crusty this is. And to top it off, I can't even spin this with my fingers, so I'm pretty confident this is going nowhere. Yeah, going nowhere. So on this, we just got to deal with this one, which we may be able to just unscrew like last time. Same thing, another foam washer through the plastic, spacer, keeper. And then the little plastic cover we kept with this that was here. We're just gonna we'll keep with that bolt. And then this one, like I said, not worried about it, not going anywhere. These are a little bit easier that don't have the little extension piece hanging out, but you can wrap them pretty nice and easy. Okay, so on different vehicles, the kind of the buckle part of the seatbelt is different. On this, the back seats, they're kind of built into them. They're just spring-loaded, like, I don't know, plastic, so there's no webbing or anything that can be replaced there. So in this case, nothing in the back seat for lower webbing, I guess. And then the front seat over here, we noticed is exactly the same. It's got this kind of plastic covering on it, and no webbing can be done, so it's just going to be the upper belts in this. No problem. These are kind of designed and tucked and hid away anyway, so don't got to worry about that. But in your vehicle or your truck or your whatever you're doing, you may have a second half of it, so don't forget that if you go, you know, put your belts in, you go plug it in and the bottom's black or brown or tan or whatever you had. Just something to remember. And that's literally it. Keep everything and that you don't want to lose or that you think could be lost in the shipping process. We're going to take all 4 of these, slam them in a box, ship them off to Safety Restore. They're going to take them, re-web them completely in purple, and then they're going to ship back, and then we can throw them in. Next step in this project is actually what we're waiting on. We partnered up with SoundShield on this, and we got, I pretty much told them what I needed, and I think they're sending plenty more. So this thing is going to be pretty much like soundproof, I would hope. We're going to be doing the entire tub in SoundShield. We're also going to be doing inside of these door panels. As you can see, these new Broncos, everything is made, the doors, the outer panels, these aren't anymore obviously because of the fiberglass body kit, but from factory, everything is this, I mean, it's thin aluminum, so thin. So it doesn't really help much with sound or any of that. So we're gonna throw in a huge layer of SoundShield before we put the window track and all the stuff back in there. But we're gonna do the inside of the doors and all that. We're waiting on that. I think it's shipped, so it should be here very soon. I was looking in up here, and there's this giant grommet. I got my finger on it right now. It's huge. There's a wiring harness that goes through it, but I believe like off to the side. Obviously you know how all those grommets are and how weirdly shaped they are. But this is like a big circle, and you know, poking around with my finger right now, right down there, that grommet that harness is going into, right there. There's a lot of room around where that harness kind of goes in. And I think I can drill a hole where I can shove that 0 gauge wire either right next to it, above or below it. And I think there's room every way for a wire that large to just kind of slide through that grommet as well. I'm hoping the Bronco engineers put a grommet that size there on purpose. I don't know why they make all these vehicles, want you to upgrade them like Jeeps and Broncos, and they don't have like firewall access for you to run accessories. On this Bronco, we're lucky because we have the aux switches right here. So we can tap in all of our accessories to it, the light bars, rock lights, all that, you know, all those goodies we'll throw on here. We could tap into that, but there's no grommets anywhere to run if you didn't have the aux switch capability in yours or any of that. They don't really give you an easy way to run your accessories inside so you can run a switch, which I find bizarre. I feel like there's, you know, enough firewall here, or they should at least move something over an inch to give you some room. For at least probably 2 0 gauge wires. It'll be super easy, get that 0 gauge in there, and then we'll run it all the way back. Here is the pile of parts that I guess is left to be painted. I got the hood, the hardtop, there's the mirrors, this little front piece that goes under the grill, got the handles, antenna, cowl, and then down here various pieces like the spare tire mount, and then the rest of the mirrors here. I took them completely apart, so we got them in pieces, but they kind of all go with the mirrors there. So this is all that's left to be painted. Unfortunately, again, just like the SoundShield, waiting on the shipment. I've got like a drip of black primer left, so I got to get more because this hardtop is definitely less textured than a Jeep, but to get a perfectly flat finish, you got to put a surfacer on there and sand it flat so it's you know, it's like body panel slick. So, you know, a couple things holding us up. Other than that, all this is going to change color. I mean, sooner than later. I'd assume by the end of next week. I'd assume that everything would be painted, and then hopefully the sound shield's in there. We get the whole interior like wrapped up. Other than that, guys, like I said, we're just waiting on a couple things that are holding us up from the rest of, you know, the reassembly process. Can't wait to get those seat belts back from Safety Restore. They're gonna look so good, and it's almost perfect timing because by the time they come back, the interior should be going back in, so we can throw those seat belts in as we're doing that, as we're putting the plastics back in. That's going to be really, really exciting. I haven't seen this thing with mirrors on it in over a year, and I saw a picture in my camera roll the other day. Completely different animal, especially with that hood on. It's really going to look aggressive here, and it's going to sound aggressive with that sound system. So stay tuned, guys. If you enjoyed this video, shoot a thumbs up. If you haven't been here before, please get down there, click subscribe, drop me a comment if you haven't already. Take care. I will see you guys shortly. Once these parts come in, this thing's going to come together just like this.